Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Pretty good.
All right. Fuck yeah. I just wanted to jump into it quick. I didn't know. I'm glad you told me you're on a call because I might have been like, let's start this in like 5 minutes, or like 10 minutes.
Oh,
So thanks for telling me.
no problem. I mean, we can wait 5 minutes or something. Like,
No, we're all good. No worries. Um, so dude, I know there was a wall of text, and I kind of skimmed a little bit, but just give me
yeah,
I guess a quick guideline as to what you think you want to work on today. Like a general idea of what you think you want to work
yeah.
on today.
I think there's probably like one of three things that I would be into working on. One is I play this weird Cyclone mine into BC TVP style,
Okay.
and it's like kind of working for me now, but I don't see basically anyone else playing it,
Sure.
and so I am kind of like wonder. Obviously, like if you were you could get to like very high, you could, there are people who can make GM with that,
Yeah.
because but like I'm not that. So am I making life really hard for me, or are there adjustments I should make, because there aren't really like, if I was playing like some basic TVP bio styles, there's tons of video content out there, but I'm kind of like on an island here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just kind of curious about it. And then the other two things that might be interesting are like the I don't know if you probably don't remember this, but a while ago you like made this build for me that was like a Hellion Cyclone build against Zerg,
Okay.
and I've been mostly playing that. But I think I need to modify it a little bit, as I was like platinum then, and I moved up to like kind of in diamond
Yeah.
now,
Mm-hmm.
and I am I feel pretty good about it, and I think I can keep going with it. But there's certain like I sometimes just die to like a lot of roaches, or roach hydra, or roach ravager, like off like two or three bases, and I think I need to add in a banshee or battle cruiser or
Yeah.
tanks or something.
I actually have a more modern version of the build you're talking about of Hellion Cyclone. It's what I do now, and it's definitely it's not something I was doing all the time, but I saw some other Terrans do it, and I was like, oh shit, this feels fucking good, and we can go into that if you
Yeah.
want to as well.
So that would be the other thing, and then the third thing is I like yesterday, or like sometime earlier this week, I like was just playing some 2v2 and ended up making this opening that I kind of thought was fun, where like it's just kind of aggressive, and I attack early and try to kill probes and get a lead, and it's kind of fun just because it like I feel like I get more of like since I get into a fight faster, and then I'm trying to macro and control at the same time. I feel like it's sort of like a more efficient way to practice and sort of more fun. But I don't know if it's like gimmicky or viable, and like and I haven't really figured out how to follow up correctly out of it and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it could be interesting to like look at that. But I also don't like, it's not like a, I don't know. That's just like those, any of those three are fine. Whatever you think might make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would say uh, any one of them works for me as well. We could talking about a Hellion Cyclone build, or I was not. I was sorry. Talking about a Cyclone Widowmine build against Protoss specifically. If you wanted my general opinion, I would say probably like if you wanted my better coaching, I'd probably would avoid that. But if you want my just general quick tip of how I think that should go, I would say against Protoss, if you open up with Widow Mines, I think the only way you're not going to die is if you maybe make like a siege tank with it as well, like behind it, and then go into Cyclones. If you open up straight with Cyclones, you could do that, but maybe your build could be like Reaper proxy into Cyclone and then into Widowmine drops. Essentially, the build ultimately boils down to like Widowmine drops, in my opinion, with Cyclones. But it's still Cyclone focused early, because I feel like if you focus Widowmines early, you'll just die to people who open Robo.
Oh yeah, I usually open with like two factories for cyclones, and then the third
No, okay,
factory
cool, cool,
starts
cool.
making widow mines.
Okay, that makes
And
sense.
the widow mines are basically for charge lots, because like
Okay.
that's the main thing that I can't. I mean, and air and sky toss, like if because they clump up.
Do
I
you
mean,
ever
at least
drop
like
them? Do you ever do drops with Widow Mines when you're at that stage?
uh not with this build. I mean, I don't think I'm like that good of a player, so
Okay.
like I can see, but like I've done it. I've done widow mine drops like when I play bio, but I don't even build a starport until I until I take like a third or a fourth, and I start building.
Sure.
And then I usually go like right into battle cruisers or a Raven if I think they're going DTs.
Okay. Yeah, it could work. The only thing that's kind of scary about it though is if you don't do drops with it, I feel like you take a lot of the power away from it, and then if it's just for zealots, there's a higher chance I feel like you could get overrun by someone who just like masses Blink Stalker, and actually just focus fires out your like they blink over the mines or something, and they just focus fire out your
oh yeah,
your
so I
cyclones.
usually leave the mines like. The way it works with Blink Stalkers is that like I'm kiting people with cyclones, but then I leave the mines behind them and then kind of pull away with the cyclones, and they'll blink onto the mines.
Hopefully.
I think that yeah.
If they have no
I
observer.
can see, this is the kind of thing where I can see like as you get better, people like
like it's
people
like
who
an
are skilled
observer.
just, like,
Yeah, it's an observer just
don't-
sees all like a fucking minefield, and you're like, okay, I see that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna blink into
it relies on people being, but it's interesting to me that like at a like
that.
I would have thought that like people wouldn't fall
Less
for
than
it as
3
much.
you
Like
vibe.
basically like I don't really have problems getting people to just fall for that
Yeah.
in like Diamond. But I can imagine that people as they get better won't do that. Anyway,
I would say probably just do that one for yourself and just like keep experimenting and having fun. But for a coaching lesson, if you want a genuine build to like climb with, because I feel like that build's gonna have some problems. It's just for, I mean, like that build's just for fun one. It's not like a super legit like push.
It is fun. It is fun to play, and
Yeah.
it is like it does get me the best results now. But I think that's
It's,
mostly
you know
just 'cause
why?
I'm
It's
garbage at bio.
It's because it's one of those builds that's just so fucking awkward, and no one knows how to deal with it because they're like, what the fuck is this? No one ever does this.
Yeah.
And you put them in a weird position where they're just like not used to it, so they just make weird choices. And then a lot of times it'll be like blinking into mines, and suddenly they're like, oh, okay, everything just died. All right then.
Yeah. Yep. That's about what happens.
Yeah. So I would say for the best version of what we could get here, I think the TvZ coaching with a new version of Hellion Cyclone and something to add on to it to make it better, we could really delve into that and talk about how to make that super solid. And
cool.
I don't know if you have any replays. We could definitely make one though if you don't have one, because it could be for instance, I don't feel like you have the build that I'm going to tell you to do, so I don't imagine you would have a replay of anything that I could talk about. But
I have a couple of replays I could look at. I have one where I played Hellion Cyclone like yesterday or something. I saw a video this guy Juggernaut Jason made of doing a battle mech thing, and I did a bad job of copying it, but I won a game and it was okay. So I could show you that replay.
Let's just jump into a new game. I feel like it'll just save you the most time, because I'll be telling you like you should do this, and then I could just show you this and then have you do it again yourself.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
So what I'm kind of thinking is maybe if you want to do it, we could do maybe a live game. It doesn't have to be against me. Maybe I could I'll show you the build, I'll break it down for you, and then if we have time, I could show you, or I could have you play someone from the stream like in Diamond.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sure.
All right. So if you're not on, log on and send me a message. Otherwise, if you join the Vibrator group chat, I can make you a party with you. And we'll get a game going whenever you're ready. If you don't know how to message me too, I can tell you how to do that. It's the whole like Grandmaster list thing.
Where's Jack? Grandmaster.
And right now I'm rank 134.
Scrolling. Found you.
Nice. So one thing I learned, or one thing I've come to realize with Zergs, when you just playing as Terran, is I used to do a build where I would go really heavy battlecruiser. Like I would just keep making BCs with Hellion Cyclone, but it was definitely a focus on BC. And you would get to a point where the idea was once you had like 15 BCs or so, like a big count of them, you could just win the game automatically. Because you could just like if they went like Mass Corruptor, you could have a Raven. You could Shredder Missile the air, and then just like have the BCs Yamato a bunch and just win.
That's what I usually do.
Yeah, but I've come to realize like that build ever since Zerg started kind of understanding the concept of if I see my opponent going for multiple BCs, I will just go Roach Corruptor and that's it. It makes it really hard because they don't even have to make a crazy amount of Corruptor. They just make enough Corruptor to like run over your BCs, like to keep them busy, and then the Roaches kill everything. Like they just kill the whole fucking base because your Cyclones can't really zone the Corruptor anymore. So your BCs are so busy for so long. So a build that I've seen Terrans do that's super good is you literally you skip and you cut some costs out of your build now. You still go 1-1-1 into Hellion Battlecruiser, and the whole concept of it is to kill drones. You're just killing drones, and if you can, kill creep or whatever. But the main focus is definitely drones, and it's guaranteed drone damage because the BCs, no matter what, as long as you micro it a little bit, it's super easy to micro too. We can talk about it, but
Yeah.
as long as you micro it a little bit, it's going to give you so much fucking damage. Just like popping off like 8 drones or something off of a mineral line, and then the Hellion damage on top of that. Maybe you kill like 8 more drones, and suddenly you have this massive lead. But you only make 1 BC. You do not get Yamato cannon, and then you immediately go from 1-1-1 into a 3rd command center into just like 4 more factories, and you have like 5 factory, like 1 maybe 2 reactor. It's really a judgment call by you, whatever you feel more comfortable with. I usually do 1 reactor and 4 tech lab, and I'll just be like fucking cranking out cyclones and hellions. And it overpowers Zerg so fast because you not only do you, if you get good damage done with the BC and the hellions, does it like put the Zerg behind, but it also forces reactions out of Zerg, so it slows down a lot of other aspects of what Zerg can do. And if you follow it up with a really fast power hit of like a bunch of cyclones and hellions, the hellions are kind of just buffer, but it's really just a power hit of like a bunch of cyclone, like 8 cyclones suddenly come out. And it's like, oh my god, fucking, this is like really hard for Zerg to deal with here. You can just start popping expansions, and if you can do that, Zerg is super dead. It just makes it super easy to just keep expanding against Zerg and keep them defensive until they're just gonna die. So that's the general theme of it. It's just like a very big power spike of early Hellion Cyclone. And it's definitely an emphasis super fast on it.
Cool.
So I'll kind of... Now, this build can transition into 2 things as well. You still could transition back into battlecruisers like I used to do. I think it's still a nice thing to do. Or you could just straight up stay on ground-based mech all game and go from cyclones and hellions all the way to like max supply. And then once you're like around, or like once you have a massive amount of control and you see the Zerg trying to tech switch and you're like, you know, just wanting to like do a tech switch yourself, you could switch into like Thors and tanks. So both work. I would say just for the simple sake of it, like Battlecruiser probably has a better turtley aspect to it, where if you get a lot of them, you can just win the game automatically. So you can tell me if you want the other one, but my opinion for you is probably show you the Battlecruiser version, like when you can transition back into it later. But if you you let me know if you prefer that or you do.
I mean, either one's fine.
Okay.
But I feel comfortable with battlecruisers, and I sometimes make like Thor tank help out. I mean, I think like
I'll show you the BC version. It's all good.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so basically, we're gonna be going for a scout. We'll play it safe. We'll make sure we're not getting all in and stuff like that. We're gonna be doing a scout off the barracks with our SCV. We're gonna be making a Reaper as well, and then a Marine right after, and then we're gonna go into reactored Hellions into a BC. Everything super standard for the opener of the build.
What's the Marine for?
The Marine is in case a unit comes back to harass your SCV, and while the Reaper is gone, and also it helps kill the Overlord early on in the game if the Overlord wants to dive. But it's purely just defensive.
Got it.
So SCV can go scout. We can make an orbital. Another SCV can now pull off the mineral line to to go down to the natural, and take our natural here, and sorry, I have this fucking like nose hair that's just like bothering the fuck out of me right now. I'm so sorry. It's so distracting. Okay. No, we're all good. We're all good. Okay, so if you saw, like, obviously, if you saw something like this, your Reaper could just stay defensive. If you're like, oh, we're getting early pulled, cool.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it would just definitely go over there to try to kill some drones or whatever. Now, Marine pops out, and as soon as we start that factory, we start gas number 2. And then we'll start a reactor as soon as we can. And And we'll be going into a Viking as well. And the Viking's super good at just being able to make your Hellions more concealed. The Viking is actually a super important part of this build. Just because it makes your Hellions have a higher chance of actually killing drones. Because he won't see you as often.
Zerg doesn't see where they're coming from.
Yep, exactly.
And where to move his queens.
Yep.
Okay.
So you make a tech lab with the barracks. Making a tech lab with the barracks too allows you to have the time to make a Viking. So you don't have to actually make it on the, just, you know, when you're ready to make a BC.
Yeah.
Okay, and now that we have Hellions popping out, we can go ahead and start. We can send the Reaper out now, since, you know, if it was defensive already at this point, you could send it out now.
Right.
We can now start an immediate fusion core. Swap over the barracks and the starport. Now with this is a huge part of the game here with the Hellions and the Reaper. Do not dive his mineral line. Like, if it looks open and you're like, ooh, juicy. I mean, if you actually did get some damage done, that would be nice, in theory. But you do not want to lose your Hellion Reaper right now. You don't want to lose it. Because it needs to pair with the BC. Because if you lose it now, and you don't have a pair with the BC, it lowers your actual power hit by a ton. So definitely do not overdo it and like just overextend your Hellions and lose them by trying to kill 2 drones. Because and you're gonna be and at this point too now, once you have a Viking out, you can just pull the Marine. It doesn't matter. Just have him go with your Hellion group and just whatever happens happens. He's kind of irrelevant at this point. Now your Viking could fly around the map and just like, you know, peruse, go kill overlords wherever you can, and you immediately start a BC. Meanwhile, you're still making depots for your doorway. You're still making Hellions as much as you can. Okay, he's actually hitting our base right now with some random fucking baneling hit. Right on.
Good decision making by the AI.
Look at that slow leg run by. Okay. And now at this point, as soon as you start the 3rd BC, the second you have the minerals to do it, you first start a command center, and then immediately right after start your last gases. And again, it doesn't matter if you've engaged with your Hellions on his base or not yet, because again, the goal is to do it when the BC is out. Okay, and then as soon as you have the gas now too, once your BC started, 4 factories. So every time you get a bit of gas, another factory, another factory, another factory. So we're going for 1 more in just a moment. And I recommend 4 tech labs. You could do 3 tech lab, 2 reactor, but I think more Hellion is just not as good. I've seen people do both, but I actually think tech labs are super fucking scary. More Cyclone is just scarier.
Yeah.
And all your Hellions will be doing right now the whole time. And in the meantime, when you're just waiting for the BC, is killing creep. It's all you do. Like, try not to scan. Try to just like constantly go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, without getting hit by a queen, but still like popping creep as it starts, because you can't cancel tumors as Zerg. All right, now. While we're doing this, we teleport BC into the main, and we make all tech labs on factories, and we go hit the other side of the base with the what's it called, the Hellions. BC can fly over the base, and you can focus fire a drone, and click on a drone like every like 2 seconds, and you can literally just pop it while you fly away from it. So you click the drone, and then you just click the ground, click the drone, click the ground, click the drone, click the ground, and it's actually. What's up?
You teleport a little bit outside and then fly in.
Yeah.
Instead of like teleporting right onto the.
Yes. Because if you teleport directly inside of the base, you're gonna very likely have a situation where you might teleport into like a lot of queens. I teleport just on the edge of the base, so you have a choice to like, you know, how you want to move your BC into the base. So you don't have to like start by running away, and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right, and then when your tech labs are all done, this is when you start your your cyclones, your blue flame, and your mag field accelerator. All the upgrades, and then on top of that, as soon as your 3rd command center is done, immediately start a 4th command center, and just don't block your supply. Keep making depots, and just keep pumping cyclones for a moment. And so if this group of Hellions that I have in you know, on his side of the map, if these were to die now, but also kill like a bunch of drones at the same time, that would be okay. Like, killing drones if you can is great, but if you see it's like clearly you're not going to kill any drones because he's already got like roaches in the way, then you can just back off and let the BC kill drones instead. But the timing to do, in my opinion, would be 8 cyclones. So once you have 8 Cyclones, you just go. And that's also going to be when your Blue Flame's done and your Mag Field Accelerators are going to be done. So that's like your power move right there. And while it's defensive, as it is right now, this is when it could be super defensive with your 3rd base. So this whole new army I just made out of my natural, that could be what takes our 3rd safely without having to worry about getting attacked. And now we have 8 Cyclones. And you're still making Cyclones, but now that you have a 3rd, now is the time when you want to go get ready to really apply pressure to the Zerg. My 4th command center is done. So we're going to be pairing this all with keeping Zerg defensive while we take a 4th and start another command center again in our main base. We'll start like a 5th base now. We can also start an engineering bay at this point because we're getting ready to go planetary. But it's going to become a situation where we go into upgrades now for armories and we just start pressuring Zerg with crazy amounts of Hellion Cyclone. So again, this is the move where, I'm just going to pause it and say it just because I know it sounded maybe confusing there. As soon as we have 8 Cyclones, it should pair with our 3rd base going down at our 3rd. Like, and if you feel comfortable and you feel like you have good control, you could even take it right as it's finished instead of waiting until you have the Cyclones to push out. If you don't feel like you're being threatened, like if he's not all-inning you essentially. So we take our 3rd with the 8 Cyclones. Behind that, our 4th base should be going to the 4th because if we started our 4th right after the 3rd was done, by the time we actually take our 4th, or by the time we actually take our 3rd, 4th should be getting ready to go get taken as well because we'll be able to like fully saturate our 3rd right away because we've been making SCVs the whole time. And then the last thing on top of that, once again, is this is when you start your armories for upgrades. And with the armories, we're going to go for ship weapons and ship armor because it's we're going to go for the, like, this is how you choose if you're going to go for the Thor tank version or if you're going to go for the battlecruiser version, because weapon upgrades on the ground for Hellions and Cyclones are literally irrelevant. They don't do shit. Like, because the Cyclone is spell based, its lock-on ability has 0 benefit from a weapon upgrade, and it's the only time you're actually attacking with this unit. You're not just A-moving it otherwise without lock-ons because it's so squishy. And a Cyclone is only really useful for buffering damage, like it absorbs damage. So if you're fighting a bunch of Roaches and Hydras, they could just kite you all day or something like that. They don't even have to connect with you. And if it's a bunch of Lings, weapon upgrades are irrelevant because you're going to be 2-shotting Lings either way with Blue Flame. So,
Makes sense.
yeah, so weapon upgrades on the ground don't matter for Hellion Cyclone. And then all it's going to be from now on is going to be, we're going to stay on 5 factory, and we're going to go into just multi-expansion while spending our money. We're going to basically max off of this. And then once we max, our gas is going to start skyrocketing because we're no longer going to be making 4 Cyclones at a time. And then we're going to go into making starports. And just adding on probably 3 starports or 4 starports. I would say 4 starports. Adding on 4 starports would be good. So it takes you to a 5-port battlecruiser. And then you could just slowly trade out Hellion Cyclone and refill with BC. And then by the time you're 2 BCs, you should be 10 plus. That's the general idea. So you'll have probably 12 BCs by 2 working on 3.
Cool.
And yeah, that's the general concept of it. So, I guess you can resume it here, but you get the general idea. I'll play a little bit more with it just to max out with it, and you can kind of get a general idea of a decent max out timing of what it would be. But you just resume it when you're ready, because I can't actually, because you're referee. Alright, cool. No worries. And then let's take our gases at our expansion. Get our battlecruiser out of there. Okay, our engineering bay is done. Also, huge thing, when your engineering bay is done, immediately start building armor with this build. You don't have tanks with this build, so if your opponent pushes you with a bunch of Roaches or Hydras or something, that's going to make a huge difference that your planetary is either dying or not dying. If you do go for, it also helps a lot with mutas too, if the Zerg goes mutas right away. But if you were to go tanks right away, you don't necessarily need building armor as fast, I would say. But it's just a useful upgrade. So we're getting ship weapons and armor. And now all you do at this point too is you literally just bounce, just like I am, back and forth over and over and over. Check the 3rd, check the 4th, check the 3rd, check the 4th. You just always make it fucking difficult for the Zerg to ever take an actual expansion. And huge...
Do you ever...
What's up?
Do you split up your army ever?
With Hellion Cyclone? No. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Against Zerg, don't do it.
Okay.
You want to just get as much useful use out of your lock-ons as possible. And that means just forcing Zerg to react and then kiting them backwards. So if you split your army, you have a higher chance to get overwhelmed and surrounded, and if you lose half your army, that sucks. Like you reset yourself to no longer have control of the game.
Yeah, makes sense.
You just like keep pressuring Zerg. You can overcommit a little bit if you want, if you feel like you have control, but really just try not to lose control of the game. So you are indirectly winning the game if you just don't let the Zerg expand rather than killing his existing expansions. And we maxed that around 10 minutes and 10.5 minutes. So now at this point we could be like, this would be a great way to do it too. You could be like, starport, 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 all next to your factories with tech labs, and we're gonna swap them. And now you're gonna go for ridiculous amounts of Hellions. And you could even, since you're gonna do this right now, you could go for smart servos. Once you do this, start these smart, and you could even go for drilling claws too. Why not? Because what if he goes mass corruptor, and you just decide it would be a good idea to add in some widow mines? That's totally viable. But the idea is now we're gonna go for we're just gonna swap it all out. All the tech labs are gonna go off of the factories, and it's gonna become all reactored factories, and all tech lab starports. And it's gonna be 4 factory, 5 starport. Or sorry, 5 factory, 5 starport is what I would say.
Cool.
And this is basically the general gist of the build. And now we have the the whatever it's called, the upgrades going for 2-2. We're just getting ready to start going into mass BCs, and the other upgrades are almost done for, you know, the drilling claws and smart servos. Smart servos is super good just because you can take your Hellions, walk over to someone's base, and then turn them into hell bats immediately. And even if you don't have cyclones, you still wipe out expansion super fast with just Hellions. So very, very effective upgrade. And it's a great way to buffer your BC count. Like ultimately, you don't want Hellions out of your maxed army if you have gas to make other better units like battlecruisers. But in the meantime, while you're waiting for your gas to replenish all the time, Hellions are a great buffer for that. And you can just constantly kill the Zerg's economy over and over and over. It's always just killing economy with this build. You never try to kill their base until you have complete control.
Would you, like, so a lot of times when I do Hellion Cyclone, I'll like snipe expansions with lock-ons.
Yeah, you should definitely do that.
Okay. But like you're just saying, like, don't go like into the heart of them.
Yeah, like if you have like, so what you should do is, if there is, let's just say like where the Hellion Cyclone is right now, okay, on this high ground spot. Let's say the edge of creep is right where my army is right now. I would not tell you, oh yeah, just like, you know, if you don't know where Zerg's army is, just drive all over that creep all the way to the 3rd base and just get in there, and then suddenly Zerg has a counterattack right here just wrapping around you, and he just like traps you in and you die. Like, you definitely don't want to do that. Instead, you'd want to like scan, recede the creep, and then keep receding the creep, and then shove the Zerg back into the corner where every time he engages you, he always has to come off creep, and then you chase him down as he runs back to creep, and it will get to a point where the only creep he has is the edge of a hatchery, and once that happens, and once you have control like that, you can then lock onto a hatchery from the edge of creep, and you can quickly kill it and back off, and then continue to kite him off creep as you run away from him. That's the, like, you never want to just dive on creep and go kill yourself.
When do you usually transition from using mules to like saving scans for cleaning up creep?
Right about
Would you
now.
ever build,
I would
like when you're maxed approximately, or
like it's when you have a large bank that's developed and you can still maintain production. And at this point too, you could definitely also do shit like, you know, where you could add on like an extra like 7 command centers or something. There's no reason not to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you could just,
I guess it's more like a question like when you have like
when you're developing
2 orbitals or 3 orbitals.
You should never. You should only scan if you know you're gonna kill creep. Like if like you have position where like the Zerg is not. So for instance, if let's just say it like this again, where the army is right now. Let's say this is the edge of creep, and let's say there is no army here. I would totally scan it then, go kill it, and then kind of control the area so he couldn't replace it. And then if he comes to attack me, I walk off of it and take him off creep, and then I immediately after I kill him. After I cut him off creep, I go right back in and kill queens that are trying to replace creep again. And if he gets them down, I rescan it again. However, if his army's here, right, like if his army is where half my army is and my army is where the other half of the cyclones are, if he's waiting on the creep, I will not scan first. I will poke him and I'll run back. I'll poke him and I'll just always stay on the edge of creep. And then you at least, or go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say like, in certain situations, like this is actually one thing I'm like still trying to get a handle on. I feel like sometimes if I scan, I can get a lot of lock-ons to last a lot longer and kill like 4 or 5 roaches with like a, you know, a couple of cyclones. And then sometimes I just like don't get it. Like sometimes it just doesn't work and I just like lose units or don't get it done. So, like, would you use scans to like kill units on the edge of creep or on creep, or would you just like not do that? Or it depends.
Are you're saying for like the vision radius of like when they're running out of your lock on range or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. If you have a juicy lock on, totally worth it. If you have like 8 roaches that are about to like run up a ramp or something, or they're about to run, they're running fast out of your range, and you want to maximize that range, you should totally scan that. That is definitely worth it. The only unit I would say probably don't scan for if you have a lock on to is a Zergling, because you're gonna kill it either way. Like it's 2 hits and it's dead.
Yep.
But every other unit Zerg has, yeah, I would say worth it.
Okay.
Literally, like Zerglings and Banelings will die in 2 hits, super easy. But everything else could take like 4 hits, 5 hits, 6 hits, or whatever. And yeah, if you have it, you definitely want to scan that shit. And then you want to be. The thing is too is there's waves of aggression. Okay, so I want to make this the last point about how to play this properly. When I was saying how you're patiently, actively denying creep, pushing, but you're never overcommitting. You can overcommit a little bit, as long don't overcommit your whole army ideally, but try to force a fight to happen where you might lose 1 Cyclone and 3 Hellions, or 3 Cyclones and 6 Hellions. You might lose a small chunk of your army if you push into the Zerg, but the Zerg is also going to lose a chunk of his army once your round of production is finished on your starports. Because you're ready to put in another 6 battlecruisers, or 6 supply times 5 starports of battlecruisers in there, which is 30 supply ready to go. Okay. So if you lose, like, yeah.
So, but like up before then, I shouldn't even be taking trades that are like on paper good trades.
Yeah, you should always be trying to take, even if it's like, oh, I just killed 2 roaches and I killed, you know, a creep tumor. That's still a good trade for you, as long as you're not losing shit, really. You want to avoid losing Cyclones at all costs. Hellions are replaceable. Who gives a shit about Hellions? But Cyclones, you do not want to lose them until you max, ideally. And once you max, then you can start losing them, because then you have the bank to start switching into battlecruisers. So if you lose a Cyclone, it happens. Yeah, whatever. But ideally, you don't want to lose them. You want to keep them alive as much as possible, because it increases the amount of control you can have the more they stay alive. So like right there, I just took a fight with Zerg. That's perfect. And now I just remax on battlecruiser first, and if there's any excess supply, finish it on Hellions.
Yeah. 2 random, maybe they're just dumb questions, but what about repairing? Like if you have an army like what this looks like right now,
I would say don't do it.
Would you ever don't bother to bring it home? And, like,
exactly. Because the time of control is so much more valuable than HP of a Cyclone.
Okay.
I would say, I would. The last thing I would say about that is, if you actually find yourself always having to repair your Cyclones, it means you might be overextending them a little bit too often. Like if all of them keep getting low and dying over and over and over, it means maybe be a little bit more conservative in the moments of the game when you're getting them constantly killed.
Okay. And then the other thing is just like, as I'm building up this Cyclone force, like, how do you, like, I mean, I think what I had used to do, but I'm like trying to like learn not to do, is just like kind of F2 all the time.
Yeah.
And now, like, because just for various reasons, I like make an army and then go around with it and like rally to like a safe like relatively safe space in the front of my base. Like, how do you think about like joining those up? Do you like ever like just like
if you have
F2 and just select the units you have and just like bring them together, or like is that dangerous?
If you have control, F2 is fine. If you don't have control, you want to make sure you're having an idea where Zerg can threaten you from, and that's why you want to make sure your Helen Cyclone is always rotating left, right, left, right, left, right. And you're not just fixating on one spot every time. You really want to be rotating constantly. So you'll be able to catch, you know, move outs like that a Zerg could possibly do. And you got to keep in mind too, if a Zerg does move out, and so like when you make rallies, biggest thing of all is put them behind your wall. Put the rallies behind your wall. Make sure like all the new units spawn behind your wall. And if you ever notice, a Zerg is not literally just nowhere to be seen defensively. If you push into like his third, and he just doesn't even try to defend it, I would say as a reaction to that, if you just kill the third and you're like, okay, where the fuck is the Zerg now? Probably go home, and immediately while you're going home, raise all of your depots and hold your wall up for a second, and just get ready to possibly have to deal with a counter all in.
Too good to be true
Yeah,
scenario.
exactly. It's like, why are you not defending? You must be AFK or you're counter rolling me. And yeah, that's shit that'll definitely make it to where you're not running your army to death all the time. Another huge tip is, just like we said with being conservative with your early on Cyclone, try your best as well to be conservative with your first battlecruiser, because if you can, you create a situation where you make it harder for Zerg to defend properly. Because, for instance, if you teleport your battlecruiser into the base of the main base of Zerg, and this is when you have 14 Cyclones, okay? And you're you just have your battlecruiser on hold position behind the mineral line, and he's just popping drones over and over and over out of range of a spore that are over on the left 3 patches or something like that. You can create a situation where the Zerg's attention is drawn there, and he might even pull army Queens, for instance, back there to defend it, and it creates a situation where even if worst case scenario you don't even kill a lot of units, it guarantees you kill creep spread, and if you kill creep spread, it makes it so much easier to kill units.
Yeah.
So, yeah, keeping that BC alive early too is super important if you can.
Try
not to stack it.
Oh, in the phase where there's 1 BC or maybe 2 BCs or something like that, how, and you're building up the Cyclone force.
So just keep in mind, you only make 1 BC. I just want to make sure you know that too.
Oh, okay.
Only 1 BC till you max, and then you start making BC again.
Got it. How would you split your attention between those two things? Is it almost? It sounds like almost exclusively on the Cyclones, except for
mostly,
occasionally,
yep.
just the BC is mostly to draw attention and draw maybe corruptors or something that's otherwise kind of useless.
Yeah.
Except for the
you go pure Cyclone attention once you have the Cyclones, and you can just set up the BC in his base first and be annoying with it and be like, here seems like a good spot for it to last for a while I attack with Cyclones, and I'll come back and get the BC later. And you can also set up, once you have Cyclones, you can actually set up your BC without teleporting into his base. You can just fly into his base and teleport out of his base. Because it's more just about control then. It's not about a timing attack. But early on in the game, when you have the Hellions and the Cyclones, I would say it's more about focusing on the unit where he's not defending. So if he's all over your BC with Queens, you could initially attack where the Queens are with your BC and maybe kill off 4 drones, focus fire as you run out of his base, and then you're out of his base. But if his army is mostly defending the BC, then you can focus most of your attention on the Hellions. So I would say don't really, even if you just run out of his base with the BC and you see, open mineral line with the Hellions, let's go kill drones. That's definitely the go-to there. Just vice versa, if he's got a bunch of his Queens and his ground units defending the the 3rd base where your Hellions want to go, definitely focus fire that BC and just run your Hellions back. Just be like, all right, Hellions, chill for a sec. Go backwards and wait while I just focus 8 or 10 or 12 drones with his BC. So that comes down to where his army's defending. That's just really ultimately what you want to do with it. Stop, kill what's not being defended. But again, once Cyclones are out, Cyclones are the priority, and then once Cyclones are dead and replaced with BCs, then obviously BCs are the priority, and Hellions are just the excess, where you can be you could literally go like this. You could have 7, let's just say this is a group of Hellions, okay, that I'm saying on the top right. You can right-click a base where you know he is, hold shift, and hit Hellbat, and then literally never touch it again. And now they will literally drive there and shift into Hellbat mode, and then kill the base. And you could just be like, cool, now they're going to be self-sufficient at not dying to spines if they exist, or queens, or whatever's there. And if they get surrounded by lings, they have a much higher chance to not die either, because they have good armor upgrades and blue flame, which does 30 fucking damage. So it's just gonna crush, And then again, BCs are your focus. Now, the last thing with this build, this is the last thing I would say that's a relevant thing to talk about. If you do you have rapid fire on your lock-on ability on Cyclone?
Yeah,
you do. Okay, good. I was gonna say that is a must-have if you don't. That's so fucking good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being able to be and you can scan like that if you want to scan away and just run away and just.
Right, it's a snipe.
Yeah, well, I just kind of ran too far, but you get the point.
Yep. No,
just being able to kill the hatchery without overcommitting your Cyclones in the range of dying. Yeah, that's totally worth. All right.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we can jump out of this now, and I can have you try to recreate, and I'll kind of run you through it while you do it. And if there's any Zerg listening right now, that is, I said it earlier in chat, but if you guys are down, I'm looking for a Zerg who's in Diamond specifically. if possible.
I'm like lower half of diamond. So
So yeah,
I mean, just either way, it's fine. But just,
low diamond if possible. If we can't get anyone, Apoptosis, I'm looking at you. We might use you if you're down. That's me. You want to play, Rob? I have one request for you, or you don't want to play? Okay. Anyone else want to play? If whoever plays, I just have one request, and it's don't do if you can try to do any build you can with 3 bases. Don't do like a 1 base all in or like a 2 base all in, because when it comes to that, this build has to be rotated into something else. Like it has to go into like tanks or something, and like maybe a banshee or some shit, or like. If you get all in by like someone who's 1 base or 2 basing you, you'll see it with the Reaper, and you will be like, oh, okay, this guy's fucking crazy aggressive.
And then tanks or banshee.
Exactly. I would say definitely, if you can, try to make a tank.
Okay.
That would help a lot.
Yeah, I think when I don't do that, I sometimes just like end up in a situation where I'm like kiting the whole way back with my like 4 cyclones that I have out so far, and I just can't kill. I just like run out of space before a whole bunch of roaches are in my face.
Yeah, because you also just know, if you want to skip a tank, you could literally open up Banshee at first into Battlecruiser. That would also work. Or you could open up with, you could rotate your tech over from the tech lab on the starport back into a factory, and you could just go for a tank really quick, and then maybe put the reactor on the barracks instead of on the factory, and then you could have a bunker with marine and make a tank, and then go back into making a Battlecruiser again. And Hellions.
Got it.
So that would be an easy fix to, like, if you're trying to do this build, but the guy's all-inning you, and you're like, okay, let's not die. All right, so I'm going to have you play Apoptosis. He's a Master Zerg, but we're a little...
I'll do my best.
Yeah, you got it, dude. I believe in you. I believe in you, dude. All right, I'll go ahead and make Light Shade. And I'll be over your shoulder, too. I'll be reminding you as to, like, what you should be going for.
Okay.
And, you know, Apoptosis, thank you very much for helping, dude. Much love. All right, so whenever you guys are both ready, I'll ask him in the lobby when he's ready. Okay, he's ready. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, good luck, dude.
Thank you.
You got this. And just a reminder for you, I don't know if you're watching the time, but you have 13 minutes until you said you did that thing you got to do.
Right. So,
I don't want to fuck you over on that.
it'll be fine. I
Okay.
told the person I might be 5 minutes late.
Okay.
And
Good luck. Have fun. SCV ready.
How do you counter this build as Zerg vibe? So I won't tell you right now. Sorry, I don't want to distract you while I'm talking about Zerg for a second while you're playing. Just I'll watch your play though.
right, well, I now have a hole in my wall.
It's okay. So the way a Zerg player would ideally deal with this, how I would personally deal with this, is try to just have better macro than the Terran is. Try to basically hold your own by playing efficient. If you get to a point where you can go for a faster roach speed, that's super efficient. And also, like, because you can focus fire cyclones, that's ideally what you want to do, is reduce the cyclone count as much as possible. You can go into infestors as well. Like, don't even have to go for many of them, just like 4 infestors. And every time the Terran overcommits and dives in, if he's lazy about it, you can fungal growth his Hellion Cyclone and snare him and kill him as he tries to run away from you and kite you, and he can't kite anymore. And then eventually you can go into lots of things. You can go into Swarmos if you want to. You can go to Mutas if you want to. You can go into Burrow Move Roaches if you want to. You can go into Hydra Lurker, Viper if you want to. There's a lot of things you can do once you have the money to do it. This build is all about, can the Terran stop the Zerg from having money, or can the Zerg defend himself properly and make money? It's all this build is. It's not about killing the Zerg right away. It's about starving the Zerg and then killing him with your rotation, which is either a Hellion tank Thor army or a Hellion battlecruiser, eventually into full battlecruiser army. That's all it really is.
CC's upgraded.
Okay, so now pull that. I would say pull the SCV back. All you want to look at with the first SCV is you just want to see, does this dude have a natural? And that's all you need to see. And then you can back out, because if you commit deeper, you could lose it at this point. and it's not worth because the Reaper can see everything else you need to see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then don't forget, try not to forget, reactor as soon as you can. A lot of people, this is the one part about this build people fuck up all the time.
SCV ready.
All right, keep making SCVs. Now you can poke with your Reaper. I'd say you can dive into the main first, and you can look at his gas. Look at like how many gas does he have, and try to see how much gas he's mined. So he's got speed coming, and he's got 1 drone on gas. So it's standard speed link expand. So now if you see that number that should pop on your head is your Reaper should turn around at 315. Okay, you have until 315 to do damage because at 330 he's gonna have speed.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
All right, so make a starport, rotate your add-ons, keep making SCVs, make a tech lab with that barracks next to the starport.
You can do it, Jash.
And then start making depots now at your natural wall while you make Hellions. And don't forget to keep dropping your mules. You're doing a good job so far. Your natural's going to finish now.
CC's upgraded.
Okay, good shit. And then you can push out with your Reaper again once you have your first 2 Hellions.
SCV ready.
What should I do with the Marine? Just like,
Just Marine can, yeah. If you want to bring him at this point, you can bring him. It doesn't matter. His job is now irrelevant because now you should make a Viking.
do I make the Viking before I switch?
Make
to
the fusion core first, and then make the Viking right after. You can do it before or after you switch to the add-on. It's okay. Just fusion core needs to go down ASAP, and then make another depot at your natural. You want to get that wall gradually filled in, and then you can keep making SCVs, and you can pull your Hellions out. And now, if you pull the Hellions out, you just want to poke left, right, left, right. You want to kill creep. Do not go for drones. Just kill creep.
How many Hellions would you push out with? Like 2 or 4?
Two is fine. Yeah, 2 you can push out with 2. 4 is when you can, like, because again you're only going for creep and you're running away. You're not pushing into the mineral line.
Okay, so it's like just be safe.
Yeah, it's be very safe until your BC's out. And the second you can start your BC, don't forget to start it. And now immediately send that Viking down to your natural. So I'd say you're careful with the Hellions. If you killing the high ground vision exactly there, that is the prime spot you need to kill. I'm gonna pause it really fast. Or can I? Actually,
AFK.
okay, you did good.
BRB.
This is a very important part I have to explain. Make sure you always kill that overlord at your wall first. And like, even if there's an overlord in your main, just go for the overlord at your wall first, and then go back and kill the one in the main. And the reason why is because if you show the Zerg, you move out with your Hellions. As you go through the ranks, Zergs will start to counterattack your mineral line if you do that. And if you look at the map right now where you are, where you're in the middle, if like 20 lings run into your natural and you're like, oh fuck, the whole game gets fucked up for you. So
Okay, so I should kill that overlord with the Viking before moving out with the Hellions, typically.
well, if you move out with the Hellions, you can kind of like pump fake or like feign a move out and then go back, and then you can like move out of the range of where the overlord sees you moving out, but you don't actually move out. And then if he tries to counter you, you can move back. But just keep in mind, if you do move out, make sure you never stop making Hellions. That way, if you do get counterattacked, you always have 2 Hellions to fall back on, and you can drag the aggro of the lings around with the 2 Hellions, kind of like how I did against the AI to a degree.
Yeah. All right.
And you can always like fall back to your Hellions again, and you can regroup and kill his lings. But if you don't, if you move out like right as the Hellions pop out, and then he counterattacks you right then, you will have a moment where you can lose SCVs. So that is a scary moment. That's something that can lose you the game if you don't have your wall sealed by then. And that's really it. That's just a concept. And if you blind the Zerg, then he doesn't know about this anymore. So that's a huge overlord to kill right there.
Okay.
All right, you can go for it again.
Okay, back. Did you miss me?
When do I take the other gases again?
So you take gas 2 when you did. Gas 3 and 4 go down after you start a command center after your BC. So it goes BC, command center, double gas. Now double gas right now. Once you can afford it while making SCVs. So double gas now, I'd say. There you go, perfect. And then the 4th gas as well, and good shit. And then again, if you poke his base, just try to kill creep. That's all it ever really is. And you can scout and see, does he have a 3rd and shit like that too. But like right there, careful. Never dive on creep like that. Just stay on the perimeter of the creep. Don't ever go onto it.
Okay. So don't even go onto it.
Yeah, do not go onto it until the BC's out. Like, try to like make Zerg always come off of it and kill creep when you can. Because if you constantly stay active and you catch tumors as they start, he can't cancel them and you just kill them. So that it takes a lot of activity of being like left, right, left, right. All right, now you want to go with Hellions. You want to double commit this. And kill the queen if you can. It's fine. Try to stay out of spore range. Do not go in spore range. Like, go down and around it. And stay on the... what you want to do, if you go into a Zerg's base like that, you want to stay on the perimeter of the middle line, on the outside, and you want to just kill drones. So it definitely takes practice to get used to.
Yeah.
And now behind this is that moment where you should be making 5 factories in total, so 4 more factories. And in general, I would say, just for future reference, start the factories before you you initiate the fight. That way you don't have like 2,000 resources.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me that you could have counter run by without actually doing it.
Yep.
Oh, I don't have any more units. They all died.
It's okay. If the Hellions die, it's not the end of the world. That's not what the game's based off of. It's just trying to see how many drones you can kill. The game's supposed to really be based off of this Hellions, the Cyclone power hit.
Okay.
So that needs to not be delayed. And now that they're delayed, you're getting fucked by roaches. So
Yeah, I think I get it. I just need to practice like controlling the DC and creep and not. I think I'm used to being more aggressive and try like playing off 2 base and like trying really hard to snipe units and just kill more stuff.
Let's really quickly jump out of that game, and I'm gonna do one more game with him again, and I'll just play the perspective of Terran, and I just want to show you the BC harass and what I mean, and I'll show you how it can look if you stay out of if you get hit by the sport color a couple times, it's not that big of a deal, but if you can avoid getting hit by it as much as possible, it's fucking huge. It's super huge at actually making you take less damage. I don't know if he's gonna be able to play again. I'll invite him again to see if he can. Okay. Okay, so now, and like the way it goes is if you click a drone, it doesn't actually redirect the BC's path if it's within range to kill the drone already. So it'll take a little bit of time to, if you're not used to it, it'll take a little bit of time to get used to telling the BC to go horizontal and then clicking the drone while it's in the vertical range of the BC, if that makes sense. Like it's like a big T.
I think I got it.
Yeah, it's because if the drone's outside of the range of where you're telling the BC to go, the BC will turn and go right to the drone. So it changes the path if it's not already in the range of the BC. All right.
SCV ready. Go ahead.
All right, and then the BC, I should be able to attack him within 5 minutes, so it wouldn't take that long.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
And then after that, we can call it.
Okay. Cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks for doing another one. Alright, so SCV building the barracks can go scout to the natural and then come back just to see if he's expanded. And the whole thing is if he expands, I can send the Reaper out. If he does not expand, I keep the Reaper defensive.
In the rear with the gear. Go ahead.
And the expansion should basically be done when I get there too, if it's a normal expansion. Okay, so good shit. What the fuck? My SUVs are like not mining gas. Sick. What the fuck? Okay. They were just like standing next to it. Okay. It's gonna throw the build off now a little bit, which kind of sucks.
Center upgraded.
SCV ready. Cat from above.
Okay, so I overstayed my welcome here with the Reaper as well. I didn't leave at 3:15. What's up? Your mic was kind of messed up right there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I bumped something on my phone and started making noise.
Oh, you're all good.
Would you ever research Yamato before
No.
you like transition to BCs later? Never.
No. It's that's why it's not worth it. It's only worth Yamato to get multiple BCs. If you're only gonna go one BC, it's definitely not worth. And cutting Yamato out of your build can make you do this power hit with Cyclone so much faster. And having the Cyclone power hit so much faster, the reason why it's so good is you can do it before the Zerg has roach speed, if they do a 3-base build, which is crazy effective.
Got it.
Alright, so now I'm going to chill with my, oops, send the Viking down. So like if I move my Cyclones like this and I'm like, hey, I'm moving out, not really. It looks like I moved out and the Zerg might take it, like think he can take advantage of that and I can suddenly just come right back and defend the Zerglings.
Got it.
And then once you have your actual Hellions out, then you can go, once the wall's also sealed, you can also not care anymore.
Do you, what do you do with the Viking after this? Do you just sort of shift click it around the map and
Yeah,
then
you just-
not
yeah.
worry about it?
You want to kill around your base first for any hidden overlords, and then you want to, after that, you want to kill see how he's got overlords in front of his creep out in the open? You want to kill those right after. Those are what are revealing where your Hellions go.
Okay.
He's got most Zergs will always scatter overlords just like that in the middle of the open.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then now we can start making factories. Oops.
Are you ready for this?
So just keep skirting the creep as much as possible, and keep killing like that right there. Boom. Now he just did his creep wave spread, so there's going to be more creep. If I go up here, there's probably more tumors being actively spread, possibly. No? Okay. And just go right back down again. Now here comes the BC. Now we're going to do a hit into his base with this. Let's get 2 more factories because we can afford it. And BC flies in. And now he's got his queens all down here, so now we can just hit the base. And I can stay out of range of the spore, mostly, and just literally skirt the edge of the mineral line and just kill drone, kill drone, kill drone, kill drone.
Wait, you're targeting those specifically so that they finish killing them instead of switching targets?
Yeah. I'm just clicking it, and now we just killed 11 drones. That already makes it worth it. And now I can come in here and I can just poke a drone line too for a second. Because again,
pulled a bunch of queens.
yeah, and this is also not the Cyclones. You can dive this wave of Hellions. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Okay, now let's get ready to take our 3rd base in a second of all the whatever it's called. And then if you gotta go, you gotta go as well for this. But at this point now, this is when we just transition to the same thing we just talked about, where you go Blue Flame, Cyclones with Hellions, and you just try not to supply block. Keep your command centers rolling, keep your expansions rolling, and you just literally wait till you have 8 Cyclones to do a power hit.
I just should wait
Yeah.
until I have 8 to move out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now he's doing the same attack he did to you with the roaches, and we now have Cyclones popping out of our factories in just a second, so we should be okay here. We can just poke him for a moment, just to, you know, push him back a little bit. And now we're okay. Okay, and then we'll do the 8. Now also, since we have Cyclones being fully pumped, now we go double Armory and Engineering Bay, so that we can take our 4th base as a PF, and we can also start 1-1 upgrades for air.
Cool.
And now we have 6 Cyclones. Get that gas going again at this base. Transferred more SCVs over here. And now when these last 2, or now we have all the 8 Cyclones. Now, this is the idea of the containing Zerg. This is when it gets really fucking strong for you as the Terran player here. So we always pull him off creep, and then we chase him back forward if we can. And we can scan now that we just push him back.
Okay.
And just kill creep.
Cool. Yeah.
And just keep doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah. No worries. I know you gotta go.
I gotta run.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for doing it, dude.
Thanks. Really appreciate it.
And I'll tell you
thanks.
by tomorrow. Later, man. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks, Apoptosis, for killing me.
Okay. Anyways, guys, that's going to be that for the coaching lesson. It's just the general idea of containing the Zerg. That's overall what's going on. But shout out to Charlie for doing the lesson, and thank you guys for hanging out and watching it. I know, that one had it was a little bit of an abrupt ending, but he was on a very strict timeline there, and he had to go. But much love. Cheever, once again, thank you for doing it. Thank you guys for watching. Go check out more videos if you guys liked it. And I will see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be. It might be a replay analysis, might be another coaching lesson, whatever it is. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take it easy. Much love. Thank you. Shout out to Apoptosis for helping us with a player in the game. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace, guys. See you.